Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming in the rain to join us and make it such a beautiful minyan. First of all, I didn't look at my email yesterday, otherwise I would have been able to say this yesterday, but a very varma mazel tov to Yaakov Warman and his wife on the birth of a great-great-granddaughter. A great-granddaughter, not great-great, not yet. A great-granddaughter. Should be zeichel l'chnisel l'ben Torah l'chuppah l'maisim tovim, and we should all share in such simchas. Also, again, we learned the Ilay Nishmas, my Shver's mother, as he concludes the Yahrzeit today. Rivka Bachas Chanoich Zundel, and the Neshama should have a lichtige Ganeinen, and she should watch over her boychik, it's a boychik. The baby, yeah. Watch over the baby. Like we say, the babies are having babies. In this case, the babies are having ereinikels. Yeah. What better thing to do for a mama than to learn Mishnayos? Mishna is Isis Neshama. So we're holding a Mishnah Gimel, and we're sponsored by the Fisher family, the Nishmas Basra, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Pel Bas Ruvain. We also learn the Nishmas David ben Chaim, the Refuah Shalem for the Yomis Mechayisar, for the Schus of Avram ben Yom ben Nishma Malki Hudis, by Yol Klugman and family, Refuah Shalem for Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel and Meir ben Chayisar. They should have a Refuah Shalem of B'Seich Shechel Yisrael. They called me last night from Kalaloshin because we missed some days of Mishna Yomis, and they told me that this February will be the 20th anniversary, B'li Ayin Hara, that I'm saying shir on Kalaloshin, and they wish that I should be able to do at least another 20 more. So I thank you always for putting up for all of these tchotchkes over here, but all of these tchotchkes are watched by a lot of people. I'm finding out now, people that I never knew, because people are calling me that I haven't given daf for since I came home from the hospital. We've been playing on the Zoom, we've been playing the daf from years before, because I have recorded daf from years before, from different cycles. But finding out people from many different places that are listening, so thank you for putting up with my buttons and all these things. So Mishnah Gimel tells us, Kaisman get la'ish, they could write a get for a man, afal pishein ish da'ima, even though the wife isn't there, because a get could be written without the consent of the woman, so the wife doesn't have to be there. And we could write a receipt for a woman. When she gets paid the ksuva, she gives her husband a receipt. So we could write the receipt for the woman. The only thing is that they have to recognize that this is this person's wife and this is this person's husband. As long as we know that, otherwise we're afraid that maybe they've been doing it for somebody else and give it to someone else. So we have to know at least that Chaya is this man's wife and Shalom is this woman's husband. And for both of them, for both of them, he pays the fee. He pays the fee for the get and he pays the fee for the ksuva. Similarly, we could write a promissory note for a leiva. So let's say Reb Elia is going to borrow from me $1,000. So they could write for Reb Elia an IOU note that he owes Rabbi Weiss $1,000, even though I'm not around. They ain't kaisman the malva, but they're not going to write for me that Reb Elia owes me $1,000 until the debtor is there and says, yeah, I do owe him $1,000. Now, in this case, when a IOU note is written, V'aloiva noisin sacher. Rebellia, the one who's borrowing the money, has to pay because he's the one that's benefiting. We write a deed of sale for the seller, even though the buyer isn't with him. Because if the seller is maskim that he's selling this piece of karka, so we could write it even though the buyer isn't there. Of course, we don't write it for the buyer, unless the seller is there. In this case, the one who pays for the deed is the buyer. The buyer is considered the winner. The seller loses something, and the buyer gains, even though the seller is getting the money, but a person only sells when he has to. The buyer is considered the one that's gaining. So the buyer pays the clerk fee for writing the shtar. We don't write documents of betrothal. That means the promise of the dowry, etc. And we don't write a ksuva unless with the consent of both of them. The chassan pays for the documents because it's considered that the chassan is finding his mitzvah, he's getting his mitzvah, so he pays the clerk's fee. Ein kaisvin shitrei arisus v'kablonis. We don't write documents of arisus. Arisus is a sharecropper. Sharecropper works the field and gives a percentage to the owner, whether it's 25%, 50%, 33.33%. The kablonis is a tenant farmer. This is a person who rents a field and agrees to pay the owner a certain amount, no matter what the field produces. Let's say he promises to give 100 bushels. We don't write this except with the agreement of both of them. The one who is getting it, the worker, he pays the payment for writing the shtar. Ein kaisvin shitrei virurin. We don't write a shtar of choice. Choice means choosing. This means the choosing of the dayanim. What happens is each side picks a judge, and then the two judges pick the third judge. And the agreement of these judges is binding, can't be switched. We don't write the decision of the choice of judges, the kol ma'aseh bezdin, or any decisions of the court, we need the consent of both of them. Ushneim noisnin sacher. And of course, since it applies to both of them, they both chip in the fee for the clerk's fee. Now, in the event that they're writing down the arguments advanced. Now, the arguments advanced have to be written down because once the arguments are advanced, you can't take them back. So they write a copy of one person's claims for him and the other person's claims for the other one. They write two documents. They write the two arguments separately. Lazela atzmai, for one litigant for himself, lazela atzmai, and the other litigant. We don't want to write a whole court transcript for each one, because we don't need the other side studying the argument of the other person and finding flaws in it. So we write the transcript of one for one of them and the transcript for the other one, and of course each one pays for his transcript. Reb Chananya ben Akasha Amar Ratza Kadosh Baruch Hu